Hey everybody, it's Chris back with another review for the Blue Collar Beer Gourmet. Today I'm going to be reviewing a beer from a brewery that I have given, well, one of the breweries I have given the hashtag successful not corporate. And this is one of those breweries that has had a lot of, well, I would say good luck, but I'm sure luck had nothing to do with it. It had to do with successful business practices. And they have grown considerably. They keep opening small operations throughout the country so that they can remain a microbrewery, and hats off to them, and they're not going around buying other breweries, so they're not a corporate brewery. Anyway, that is New Belgium. They are out of, I believe, Fort Collins? Yeah, Fort Collins, Colorado. You probably know them best for their Fat Tire beer. I forget what kind of variety Fat Tire is. I'm not crazy about it. That's why I forget, because I'm not a big fan of Fat Tire, but I have liked other New Belgium beers. I think their 1554 is the best Schwarz beer I've ever had, actually. This is the Tartastic Lemon Ginger Sour. Now, a little bit about this. I went on Untappd, where I discovered that 14 of my friends have given this a 3.59. 32,000 people have given it a 3.41. Beer Advocate, on the other hand, gives it a 3.37. Now, here's the real thing that's kind of a question. I went to New Belgium's website, went specifically to the page for this beer. Does not explain it any further than a sour. According to Untappd, this is a berlinerweissebier. According to Beer Advocate, it's an American Wild. American Wild's distinction is that instead of using yeast, they usually use microbes. When you see Brett, that has to do with American Wild for the most part. So, yeah, that's the distinction. So that's an American Wild, this is a Berliner Weiss. Well, I looked to see what the BJCP qualifications for a Weiss beer were. Not a Berliner Weiss, but a Weiss beer. ABVs coming in at 4.3 to 5.6. IBUs coming in at 8 to 15. Medium mouthfeel, high carbonation, low to no hop flavor or aroma. Pale, resilient head. The real distinction between that and the Berliner Weiss is the Berliner Weiss has, Berliner Weiss has lower everything. Its range of ABV is 2.8 to 3.8. Its IBUs are 3 to 8. It has a white head with poor retention, but pretty much everything else that you can hold true for a Weiss beer holds true for a Berliner Weiss. The distinction is Berliner Weiss is actually under the category of sour ales. European sour ales, actually, specifically. So, is it American Wild? Is it a Berliner Weiss? You know, that's the question. It does have a 4.5 ABV, making it, well, a little closer to a Weiss beer as opposed to Berliner Weiss. Berliner Weiss usually come in at 3.8 as their top ABV. And it has, how many IBUs? 3 IBUs. 3 IBUs, and so anyway, that's very low on the bitterness scale, but it is particularly tart. So there you have it. This has an enjoy by date of the 4th of February. So I'm 2 months past enjoy by date. One day I'm going to remember to look at the dates on some of these bottles before I buy them, but sometimes I buy it, and when I buy it before that, by the time I get it drunk, it's gone past its prime, so I can't always blame the retailer. Anyway, I did pay $1.79 for this 12-ounce bottle, and let's crack this bad boy open. Now, according to Beer Advocate, the glass of choice for Berliner Weiss is a chalice, so grab my Stella Artois, and let's get to pouring. Let's see just how hazy and how straw-colored and how resilient this head is. And there we go. So, that is actually dying down pretty quickly. Now, we do have very heavy carbonation. Got to give that I wouldn't even call that medium-high. I'd go ahead and call that a high carbonation. Lots and lots of carbonation. And the color that you're seeing on the camera is actually pretty close to the color that I'm seeing, and I'm glad for that. This head is very wispy and very white, and I don't think it's going to last for too much longer. Okay, said the Berliner Weiss, oftentimes you can smell a yeastiness. That is very much the case with this, as well as naturally lemon. I'm sure not picking up any of those ginger notes on the nose, but it is a very bready, very lemony, It's like if somebody made lemon sourdough. Is basically what it smells like. Very yeasty, and as you can see already, the head is practically gone. So resilient head usually goes for Weiss, and the flimsy head goes with Berliner Weiss. Just as a side note, just to give you some information on this, they're usually not as acidic and have lower ABVs than lambic. And also, the Berliner Weiss was called by Napoleon's troops the Champagne of the North in 1809. So, and one more thing about Berliner Weiss is that while it was very specific to Berlin, a very typical Berlin beer, now Berlin doesn't seem to brew very much of it, and everybody in other parts outside of Berlin brews it, including Americans. So, there you have it. I think I've gone blah 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 long enough. Let's get to drinking. Cheers. Well, I'm not tasting any ginger. I gotta say, I'm not tasting any ginger at all. I'm tasting a clean, lemony flavor. Not as sour as I was expecting. It does taste a little like a Hefe, but not full Hefe. It doesn't have that banana clove sort of smell. Also says that a lot of Hefes, and well, Berliner Weiss in particular, sometimes will have bubblegum smell or flavor, and I'm not getting that. The things you usually get from wheat beer, I find, are cloves, bananas, bubblegum, and rubber bands. I swear to you, sometimes a Hefe tastes like just like I'm drinking a rubber band, a liquefied rubber band. While this is good, I'm not. It's okay. It's just that there's not a whole lot of anything to it. Maybe because it's 2 months past its due. But I don't know. It's kind of tart. It's not bad. It just doesn't have a whole lot of flavor. I think a 3.0 is really all it deserves, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I'm glad I only paid $1.79 for it. It's not great. There's not much lacing because it's not a very high ABV. This is supposed to be refreshing and effervescent, and it is. But I was reading in some of the reviews that there's sort of a kick with the ginger at the end. Maybe you have to drink it fresher than I have it right now, because I'm not getting any ginger at all. It's supposed to also have sort of a dry, malty finish, being a Berliner Weiss, and I'm not getting that either. It's getting more of a fruity. Well, anyway, they can't always be winners, and this isn't necessarily a loser. It's just not a winner. So until next time, drink good beer, don't break the bank doing it, and cheers.